Trey Hendrickson is likely to see his fate decided in the next couple of weeks, as the Bengals find themselves in a very critical position with the defensive end. Trey wants a new contract. The Bengals have tons of financial constraints, so it's pretty much the recipe for a partnership breaking down. So where could Hendrickson go, and why are the Lions in a perfect position to purchase his services? There is no other way around it. Hendrickson found himself in a very difficult situation when it comes to the contract with the Bengals. Obviously, the Cincinnati team decided to prioritize Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins, so the fiscal reality for them means that they won't be able to meet Hendrickson's market value. And considering the fact Trey led the league in sacks last year, 17.5, we're talking about a massive asset being added to the trade market. What are the financial implications that we just mentioned? Well, Hendrickson is on a 3-year, $90 million contract, a hefty deal that could go one way or another. The defensive end is scheduled to receive $16 million for playing this season, and in an effort to increase that to the amount he has pictured in his head, he would skip all off-season activities with the team, even the mandatory ones, such as the minicamp. I know what you're thinking. This would result in fines, and that doesn't really seem to bother Hendrickson at all. He revealed last month that the head coach, Zach Taylor, let him know about these fines weeks ahead of time. And if he is willing to eat fines in the ballpark of $100,000, then I guess you can think about where his mind is when it comes to the future in the NFL. Even though we have a lot of question marks around us, the reality is very simple. If Hendrickson maintains his all-pro performance, the Lions would gain a significant asset at a comparatively economical rate, and the hurt from a financial point of view would be smaller than the one they made with Danielle Hunter from the Texans, who is on $35.6 million annually. It would be a massive offload for the Bengals as well. As I talked about earlier in this video, they committed to Chase and Higgins, so it wouldn't make a lot of financial sense to keep Hendrickson as well. The fact that Trey hasn't participated in any of the team's activities goes to show that he might be extremely dissatisfied with the development of events in his current team, hence the potential trade. There is no doubt that the Bengals would benefit a lot from this trade, both financially and strategically. If they choose to trade him to an NFC team, they are minimizing direct competition within the conference. Furthermore, it would allow the Cincinnati team to focus on strengthening other areas of their roster, without the looming pressure of Hendrickson's contract demands. All in all, it's a win-win scenario for both sides, but Trey is not a player that you just decide to trade for literally nothing, and a very serious candidate for his signature has been found in the Lions. So why would the Detroit Lions be smart to go for Hendrickson? It's pretty easy, actually. They were the #1 seed in the NFC last season, and they are looking to improve the defensive gameplay of their team. A big question mark is that while Hendrickson was leading the NFL in sacks last year, the Bengals still struggled a lot with their defense. It means that they are ready to commit fully to the offensive end and not care a lot about this part of their gameplay. Whereas on the other hand, the Lions want to make a defensive super team by adding the defensive end. The entire situation was also commented on by the Vice President of the USA, J.D. Vance, who spoke about this during Theo Von's podcast. Elaborating further on this, Vance jokingly expressed his optimism that a deal can be achieved between the Bengals and Hendrickson, further adding, "Trey, if you are watching this show, if you are a Republican, I will show up to a Bengals game and take a photo with you if you sign on with the Bengals. And if you are a Democrat, I'll stay the hell away. Just sign with the Bengals because we've got a chance, man." There is a lot of outside noise revolving around Hendrickson, but the reality is that this won't affect the way Cincinnati concludes its business. The commitment to Chase and Higgins is also somewhat of an indicator from their side as well, stating that anything could change in the following period. But there are a lot of individuals in the team that have started to raise questions as to whether or not this is a good reputation for their team. For example, Joe Burrow, the quarterback of the Bengals, Bengals said that he respects Trey and he hopes he'll stay with the team, further adding, "Yeah, we'll see what happens with the standoff. You guys all know how I feel about Trey. He is a great player. I love Trey as a guy. He goes out and plays well every single Sunday. He is very productive. He is a guy who deserves to get paid and get paid what he wants and what the market is. So like I said, we'll see what happens with that. But I love Trey and I hope he's with us." And I didn't say this out of nowhere. Burrow is the player who had controversial and rather questionable comments about Chase, Higgins, and Mike Gesicki in public. At the very limit of it, you could understand it as threatening, as the quarterback didn't play a big role in the contract extensions for those players. And now, we're waiting to see how the fate would turn out for the most controversial defensive end on the market, Hendrickson. Because if we are to look at things from a neutral point of view, the cards he's been shuffled are not looking that bad. At the age of 30, the actual market on pass rushers who lead the NFL in sacks is very kind. Therefore, Trey has all the right to be hopeful for the period to come. The Bengals are holding a very key piece in this period, and whether we like it or not, they could very well turn out to help the Lions in their pursuit of a defensive team. But what's left for Cincinnati if they decide that the financial burden of Hendrickson is not worth keeping? There have been interesting names popping up on the trade market, such as Za'Darius Smith, who would be a massive boost for the team's dynamic. Smith played with multiple Pro Bowl selections and has a career spanning over multiple teams, which suggests that his knowledge and experience will definitely play a key role here. On top of that, he's been a second-team All-Pro nod, so what the Bengals need to do here is calculate the risk and the reward of bringing Smith to their camp as early as possible. At the end of the day, we must not look down on the potential trade of Hendrickson. The edge rushers have extreme value in the league. The ability to pressure opposing quarterbacks and insert tremor in the offensive schemes in other teams' lineups is making players like Hendrickson and Smith extremely valuable on the market. Therefore, the Lions might want to pursue this trade a bit more harshly and in a more aggressive manner than usual. It could be the detriment to turning their team into a competitive challenger and finally bringing the first Super Bowl to their cabinet of trophies. With all this in mind, do you think that Hendrickson would be smart to listen to offers from the Lions? And more importantly, do you think the Bengals should commit to this trade and get rid of the financial constraint of Trey Hendrickson? Let us know in the comments below, and once you do that, make sure to click on the video that appears on your screen right now.